Let's have this conversation with the Associate Director, Tax Regulatory and People Services, KPMG Nigeria, Akinwale Alao. Thank you very much, Mr. Akinwale, for joining us on the program. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me.
So, what is the general framework for the taxation of online businesses in Nigeria?
Okay, well, the online businesses are first and foremost businesses, and the general framework that applies to them is the general framework that applies to businesses generally. So businesses in Nigeria, whether they are online or brick and mortar businesses, they are liable to direct taxes and indirect taxes. When you talk about direct taxes, you are talking about taxes like company's income tax or personal income tax. But in determining which tax would apply to a company, you then need to look at how the company is set up. What's the nature of the company? Is it incorporated or not? If it's incorporated, then it will be liable to company's income tax. If it is not incorporated, then it will fall under the purview of the personal income tax regime in Nigeria. And then if the company also carries on, transactions that create chargeable gains, then it would be taxed under this capital gains tax regime also in Nigeria. And then the other thing to consider are the circumstances under which the businesses may then be taxed under the company's income tax in Nigeria. So if the company is registered in Nigeria, for instance, it would qualify as a Nigerian company. It will be taxable on its global profits. But if it is incorporated outside of Nigeria, then it would only be taxed in Nigeria if it has a taxable presence, and that taxable presence will also depend on which country it is registered in. And then talking about indirect taxes, the general kinds of indirect taxes that would apply to the company are things like withholding tax, value-added tax, custom duties, excise duties, and stamp duties. The specific indirect taxes that would apply to the company will depend on the kind of transactions that it carries on. How does it deliver goods or services to its customers? So if it's a company that delivers goods, physical goods, for instance, then it may be liable to import duties where those goods are imported by it into Nigeria. The major indirect taxes that would apply to an online business would be the withholding tax and the value-added tax. Withholding tax because the corporate customers of that online business are going to deduct withholding tax from payments to it where that company has a taxable presence in Nigeria. And then value-added tax because of the broad definition of transactions that qualify for value-added tax in Nigeria. Once a service is enjoyed by a customer in Nigeria, then the provider of the service would be liable to VAT in Nigeria.
All right, Mr. Alao, first of all, how do you determine, taxable presence, and what measures has Nigeria taken to tax the digital economy?
Okay, thanks for that question. Well, taxable presence will depend on the regime under which a company falls or under which a business falls. So when you look at the company's income tax, for instance, if you are talking about a foreign company, the provision of the law that covers that is Section 13(2) of the Companies Income Tax Act. And for a long time, that provision was not updated. The last time it was updated until recently was in 1993. But in 2020, that provision was amended by the Finance Act 2020. The Finance Act 2020 created, some changes relating to significant economic presence. So where a foreign company now has significant economic presence in Nigeria, that was included as one of the scenarios under which the foreign company will be taxable in Nigeria. The Finance Act 2020 required the Minister of Finance in Nigeria to issue an order for the definition of significant economic presence, and that order was issued in 2020. It was made available to the public around May, but it had an effective date of February 2020. And under the significant economic presence regime, there are certain scenarios under which a company would be deemed to have significant economic presence. So if I would just mention them, the first one is where a company has a gross turnover that is more than 25 million naira in a year from certain activities, activities like streaming or downloading of digital content, activities like transmission of data collected about Nigerian users, activities like provision of goods and services directly or indirectly through a digital platform in Nigeria, or the provision of intermediation services through a digital platform. So that was one of the scenarios that was defined in the significant economic presence order for a foreign company to be taxable in Nigeria. Another of the scenarios is where the foreign company has a purposeful or sustained interaction with persons in Nigeria by customizing its digital page or platform to target them. So where you have a foreign company that does that, that foreign company will be liable to tax in Nigeria. The third scenario was a situation where the foreign company was using a Nigerian domain name, or it registers a website in Nigeria. And then the last scenario was where, the foreign company provides technical, management, consultancy, or professional services in a year, and it earns income therefrom. So those were the scenarios. And if we just exemplify it, so you are talking about maybe companies like Netflix that have users in Nigeria that stream video. That kind of foreign company, because it has users in Nigeria, is going to meet the criteria for creating a significant economic presence. So even though it doesn't have physical presence in Nigeria, it would be liable to tax in Nigeria. So you have a company like Spotify streaming, music. So all those kinds of companies that have users in Nigeria and are providing services to those users through digital platforms, they would fall within the scope of significant economic presence in Nigeria. So that's one of the measures that Nigeria put in place by introducing the Finance Act and the significant economic presence order. The other measure, was with respect to amendments made by both the Finance Act 2019 and the Finance Act 2020 to the value-added tax regime in Nigeria. So before 2020, there were debates about what would constitute place of supply rules in Nigeria. When would you say a foreign business provider has provided services in Nigeria? And that concept wasn't so clear, and it resulted in controversy that went to the courts. But with the amendment that was made, there's now a broad definition of what it means to carry on services in Nigeria. So just to summarize it, once a foreign company or a foreign business has customers that enjoy its services in Nigeria, that consume its services in Nigeria, then those services are deemed to be provided in Nigeria, and that kind of foreign company will then have obligations to register in Nigeria for value-added tax and to file value-added tax returns and discharge other tax obligations in Nigeria.
Now, are there key issues arising from the unilateral tax measures taken by Nigeria on the taxation of this digital economy?
Yeah, sure. There are some issues that have resulted from that. Because just to put things in context, there is a global movement to agree on an inclusive framework for the taxation of the digital economy. That started a few years ago, but it has dragged on a bit. There was a draft that was released in 2020, but there were concerns that draft resulted in a scenario where determining whether a foreign company had significant economic presence or was liable to tax in another jurisdiction was a bit complex. And even when that was determined, the tax that will be payable may not be seen as equitable. It may be too little, considering what the destination country, that's the country that has the users, would expect it to realize from the activities being carried on in its economy. So what Nigeria has done is to then enact legislation and issue an order to tax companies with significant economic presence in Nigeria and companies that provide services or that are deemed to provide services to users in Nigeria. There are concerns that countries like the United States may apply sanctions to countries. The United States has already indicated to other countries that have taken unilateral measures that there may be sanctions. The United States is also cooperating, with the OECD and other, organizations to develop a robust framework that will be fair to all parties concerned, because the United States also has concerns with the framework that was issued by the OECD in 2020. So there may be retaliatory measures taken by other countries, especially developed countries, where developing countries introduce unilateral measures. So that's the major concern of many developing countries, that there may be sanctions against them.
All right, but what measures are Nigeria's fiscal authorities taking to enforce the new rules in Nigeria?
Okay, well, so part of the things that the tax authorities in Nigeria have been doing is to engage with the business environment. So there've been engagement, for instance, with the American Business Council. There's been engagement with consultants, just to ensure that more and more foreign businesses are aware of the new rules in Nigeria, because information, education is the first step to ensuring that companies are aware of their obligations and they can then be alive to those obligations. So that's one of the steps that the tax authorities has taken. The other step that's being taken is to simplify the value-added tax regime in Nigeria, because there's some form of complexity when you have foreign companies providing service to Nigerian customers. Sometimes those customers are individuals, and accounting for the value-added tax on those transactions then becomes complicated, because based on the tax legislation in Nigeria, the Nigerian person that enjoys a service is the one that is supposed to account for the value-added tax to the tax authorities. But because most of those Nigerian persons are not even registered for tax purposes to start with, there's tax leakage as a result of that. So the tax authorities are trying to put together a framework, very circular, or a guideline, to then ensure that the foreign businesses that are providing the services are the ones that would account for the value-added tax on business to consumer transactions. So that would kind of reduce the leakage that currently exists, where VAT is not being remitted to the tax authorities, even on transactions that are liable. So those are some of the measures being taken. We think that technology would continue to be critical, and that the tax authorities should therefore introduce technology to ease the means of registration of foreign businesses, rather than have to register via physically filled forms that are then submitted at tax offices. There should be a digital platform, where foreign businesses can register, and then they can file their returns. And the tax authorities are also thinking in that direction.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Akinwale. I'm sure there's a whole lot to talk about this, and hopefully in future we'll have time to discuss further on this particular issue. Thank you very much for spending your time with us this morning.
Thank you for having me this morning.